Hey, Baker, thanks for doing this. I just want to ask you, first of all, I know this is a chaotic week to be relocating like that. Does that make it easier to put Thursday in the past and focus on moving ahead? What does that do to change things how you prep for the Saints on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first things first, wanted to make sure everybody was safe and everybody's taking the right precautions and doing what they need to do to get things done. Obviously, with the support of the Glazier family, we were able to relocate here, which was huge. Obviously, they provided travel for the team and your family members and pets as well. So that's big time. Yeah, just to be able to shift the focus there, safety first, and then go on. So yeah, short memory when it comes to the Atlanta game. Obviously, had to watch the tape Monday to correct the things we needed to, and then move forward.
Baker, I know you kind of took a hit and got bent back a little bit at the end of that game Thursday. Obviously, this is a week where having a couple extra days to recover from that, I would think helps you a lot.
Yeah, obviously not the exact week we were looking at, but a few more days always helps.
Okay. Thanks, Baker.
We'll go to Rick Stroud.
Hey Baker, can you tell us what sort of lessons you guys might have learned, from that game? You're a resilient bunch, but when it felt like you took your foot off the gas as an offense. 6 points in the second half. Just what you can take from that going forward.
Yeah, no, looking back at the tape, we executed well in the first half. I mentioned to you guys post game. I think we should have had 28 instead of 24. Then looking at the second half, just being very, very close to some of these plays being successful, and instead they weren't. And that's in a tight ball game against a divisional opponent. The game can shift just like it did. So you look back at it, and just execution. It wasn't the same thing for us in the second half that it was in the first.
And you've always said this is a resilient group. We saw you guys go through a tough stretch last year, but I mean, being in this situation, being together in a weird way, does this just kind of test that resiliency and see how tight you guys can come through this?
Yeah, it's an unbelievable opportunity for us that we're kind of messing with Kevin Carberry about this one. He just talks about what an opportunity to test our mental toughness, and but
Right.
it's as cheesy as he might be saying it's the reality, and it's how can you, like I mentioned earlier, how can you make sure that take care of the things you need to before we leave?
Yeah.
It's you have your family safe, and then go from there, and how quickly can you focus on the game plan and execute?
Right. Thanks, Big.
Sarah Walsh.
Hey, Baker, kind of along those lines, can you just describe for you personally the biggest challenge in what you're dealing with this week?
Just for our guys, you get into a routine as the season starts, and you understand your body work, what you have to do rehab wise after games. You get into your routine at home when you're practicing, and just that schedule that you normally have, and just you having to adjust on the fly. So that's the biggest difference for us. But yeah, we just have to deal with it. There's no way around it. So just find a way to make it work. And this is the group that is capable of doing that.
Jenna Lane.
Hey Baker, good to see you. Glad you guys are safe. You look at the Saints defense and they're giving up like 25% in the red zone. Statistically, the NFL's best red zone defense. What makes them so good down there? I don't know if it's the takeaways, if it's the fact that they're pressuring the quarterback really well. What do you see?
Just an aggressive team. They have obviously some of their key leaders that are always down there, aggressive and physical down there in tight spots. That guys that understand concepts, they're able to react and close some of these windows, whether it be the pass game quickly or just physical up front, not really letting you get off the ball and establish that line of scrimmage. So for us, it's really, really about the details when it comes down to the red zone offense. Yeah, it's going to be a tough ball game when it comes down to that area of the field, but we have to find a way to execute.
And I don't know from your watching tape, does it look like they're maybe disguising a tad more this year? Or, I mean, just I was looking at them. It also looks like they really don't blitz a whole lot, other than I know they do some with one of their DBs, but usually it seems like it's the pressure with four stunts. What do you kind of see in there?
Yeah, definitely not as much, pressure schemes. They're doing a lot of twists up front. Their pressure guy is Alante Taylor, the nickel. He's a very good blitzer. I'm pretty sure he's leading the team in sacks. So got to be aware for that anytime he's near or around the line of scrimmage. And really, they give you a bunch of different looks. They might have 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage, but might only be bringing 4. So it's just the mental aspect of the game of, all right, they're trying to give you this crazy look to make you panic, get the ball out, but then they're dropping out 8.
Thanks so much.
JC Allen.
Hey Baker, just the defense as a whole, what kind of problems do they present, especially in the middle of the field? With Warner, Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, you've had a lot of success over the middle of the field. What kind of problems did they present to you guys this week?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, Demario Davis, just the amount of experience he has, he's able to recognize things very quickly. He, obviously a unbelievably physical player when it comes to the run game, and just in play action, he adds on quickly to try and make you get the ball out. So he might not exactly be blitzing on some of these plays, but he recognizes it and forces you to get the ball out. And I think Pete Werner is a very, very good player as well. Those two side by side are a very good linebacker duo. So they kind of play off of each other. Pete's, he's come a long way in the aspect of where he's at mentally in the game. You can tell him and Demario are very much on the same page, kind of interchangeable within the scheme that they have. So that makes it really tough over the middle of the ball when they're able to play the way they do. And then obviously Tyrann Mathieu's seen a lot of ball as well, just pattern recognition and going from there. And then obviously you have Marshawn Lattimore, who's a physical guy as well.
And then as far as Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Evans, Tristan Wirfs, who's kind of the who's keeping them in check, making sure they're not going after each other's heads this weekend?
I don't want anything held back.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Baker.
Evan Winter.
Hey Baker. Speaking of Saints defense, they move pieces around a lot, especially back in the secondary. When it comes to being on the same page with the receivers and everything, kind of what's the process and challenge like throughout the week getting ready for that?
For us, it just comes down to the communication. We might be in a different place, but just the over communication about our concepts. And obviously, when we had a few days off, but just getting everybody back in the swing of things and go from there as the game plan comes along.
Thanks.
We'll go to Mara Carey.
Okay, now it worked. All right, glad to see you guys are safe and sound. The Chiefs and Eagles had a lot of success running the ball against the Saints. You guys are coming off a season high 160 rushing yards against the Falcons. How do you keep the momentum rolling in the running game, and what do you think has led to the recent success?
Whether it be scheme or guys just executing really well, especially in that first half, got to keep that same mindset of really establishing the line of scrimmage. Obviously, the Chiefs and the Eagles did their own varieties of it, but we have to do our own thing, and it still comes down to the details when it comes down to IDing running backs with their track, their footwork, and just their reads. So for us, just continue that, take advantage of the looks we're given.
We have time for a few more. We'll go to Rod Walker.
Yeah, Beck, I wanted to ask you, going back to the storm, what's kind of your process for just compartmentalizing that, between balancing football and keeping an eye on, watching TV tonight or whatever you're doing to see what's going on back at home?
A lot of prayer. It's out of our control. I mean, you can do whatever you need to try and prep your house, your home, wherever you're at. Other than that, it's nothing really you can do. This thing's coming from Florida, and just safety first and getting everybody out. Hopefully everybody listened to the mandatory evacuation. So compartmentalizing one step at a time of the preparation part when it comes to the storm. And then, once we're out of there and realizing that, this could be sort of Sunday to give the people of Florida and especially around our area some hope and something to look forward to watching, whether it be, not expecting anybody to really have power, but finding out the days later and go from there.
And my football question, I want to ask you a little bit about Spencer Rattler and what's kind of your relationship with him, or how well did you get a chance to know him?
Really don't know Spencer that well. He was on just a couple visits when I was there. Like general talking back and forth here and there. He sat in on a couple meetings when Kyler and I and Lincoln were in the room together, but didn't get to know the guy as a person, really.
Thanks.
JC Allen.
Hey, Big, can you just talk about Schooley and kind of, obviously struggled that week 2 game against Detroit, but where he's come in these last couple weeks filling in for Luke and kind of the battle he has up against him with Cam this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, for Justin, he's extremely hard on himself, and obviously stepping in and not having that many reps in camp because Luke's ahead of him, and stepping in against a guy named Aiden Hutchinson's not an easy task. So he was really hard on himself, and I just didn't want his confidence to drop because we believe in him. We knew that as the more reps he got, the better he was going to feel, more comfortable, all that comes with that. So he's been playing really well for us, and that's really all that matters. It's that next man up mentality and still having the faith and trusting those guys.
Thanks, Big.
Last question from Evan Winter.
Hey Baker, obviously Bucs fans and the Bucs are familiar with nickelbacks that rack up sacks. Speaking of Alontae Taylor, kind of what do you see on tape that makes him so unique?
I think obviously just his pressure looks. He's getting home quick. He's timing up the snap really well, and that's something that real good blitzers have from the defensive back positions. He's timing them up really well, and then in the pass game, I think he's playing really well in coverage. Obviously they play a lot of man coverage, they have the personnel to do it, and so I think he's playing really really well.